Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Interruption Hug with Heather Rae. I'm Heather Rae, guys, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Guys, my prayer, as always, is that this Interruption Hug comes from above. And guys, this show is all about bringing on kingdom-building people of all walks of life. And today, guys, we have a special person here with us today, Joseph Neal from Christian Media Spotlight. Yes, he is here with us today, and he's going to tell us all about what he has been doing for the kingdom. So Interruption Hug with Heather Rae. Guys, this is Joseph Neal. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so glad that you're here with us today on Interruption Hug. This is awesome.
Glad to be here, yeah.
Joe, you've got to tell us all about what you've been doing for the kingdom. So what has CMS been doing lately? Where'd this start? Tell me all about it.
Oh goodness, how much time we got? I'll try to give the abridged version here. So basically, the show itself dates back. This summer will be 14 years already. Yikes. So I was, fresh out of, high school. I was, I studied media production in high school, and I was given the opportunity at the church I was serving at the time to executive produce the main church show for them. And Christian Media Spotlight was a labor of love of mine that was based out of just necessity. It was sermon ran short, like 45 minutes long. We were an hour long show at the time. I'm like, well, can't just go out there 15 minutes early. And so I'm like brainstorming, how am I going to fill this time? And then the idea, that's where Christian Media Spotlight was born. It was originally Christian Music Spotlight because music was our primary focus at the time. And so I'm like, okay, well, what if I email some of these publicity managers and see if you would do a phone interview conversation to fill this last 15 minutes of time? And I was brainstorming the idea of the segment. Christian Music Spotlight, for whatever reason, Lord just gave it to me. It just came fairly right away.
That is awesome.
And the slogan actually was done at the same time. It came right behind it. So I was like, okay, it's going to have a slogan. What is it going to be about? It's like, well, it needs to be about what the show is about. So landed on the stories and testimonies. And the reason why is because if you go to the About section on our Facebook, it reads, our story is their story. So we want their story, their testimony, their project we want them to be the focal point of the show. Kind of borrow a phrase from it, like Alex Trebek used to say, I'm the host, but I ask the questions and then I let the guests take over and just kind of get out of the way. And let them be the focal point of the show. And so I have expected somebody to say, everybody come back at me, no, all this type of thing. But then a guy who did a lot of radio hits at the time was one of the bigger artists, male-wise, who did Give Me Your Eyes and Your Love. Brandon Heath's manager came back and said, yes, we'll do it.
Wow, that is awesome.
That segment aired, and in that first year where we had time, we started fitting it in. We had Matt Maher on that first year. We had Meredith Andrews, Sonic Flood, just the type of names we had on that first year. 2009, all of a sudden, we started growing again. We went on site at Creation Festival, which had a Northwest branch at the time. We were only going to interview one band, and we're going to leave. That's it. Festival management publicity stopped me and said, well, if we help book out interviews the entire weekend. Would you stay and cover the festival? Okay, sure. Because as it turns out, they had a lot of websites, they had a lot of radio, but we were one of the only video production on site, apparently, media-wise. So that turned into an every year thing all of a sudden. We were invited back every year. End of 2011, I quickly realized that if this show is going to grow wings, it needed to be on its own. So New Year's Day 2012, we launched actual Christian Media Spotlight, split it off. It was its own ministry brand entity, got its own half-hour separate television contract on all of our affiliates we aired at the time. And then the years kept going on. 2017, the name changed from music to media because what was happening. Focus didn't change. It's just the broad scope got a little broader because we were getting a lot of authors. We were getting a lot of movie films. We were getting a lot of non-music projects. We wanted to change the name slightly to encompass on the more broader scope to which we could have guests on. So that happened in 17. And this is where it really takes off, and we've been lately, because it's been steadily growing for years, but not at this level. Where God has just done an amazing thing this year that I never would have believed. And the end of 17, we started doing all of our production via Facebook Live first for interactivity. Little do we know, through different guests or interviewing, some regulars started finding us that way. Just, my favorite artist is now. So they started tuning in for the first time. And some of them started to get more involved. And little did I know, there were pockets across the country that were starting to light up. And so
everything was like coming together, and it was just like
the groundwork was being laid. Little did I had no idea. At middle part of 2019, I stepped down from the show that I was leading production for to focus my creative energies full time on leading this program because I know I needed to give it the time that it needed, and this is the one creatively I was fully invested in.
That's awesome.
So little did I know what was going to happen. At the start of 2020, we were approached by some of our stations to expand the show on television from a half hour to a full hour every single time. So some of those contracts got renewed to the end of 2022. And then COVID hit. And then we were like, I literally had a couple of decisions to make because some of our festivals got canceled. Mm-hmm. And so I could have decided at that point to fold it, take a break, be done, go on hiatus. I could have decided it's going to be an easy year, just autopilot, just coast it.
Right.
I remember when I even thought about that for a split second, the Lord told me quickly, no.
He gave that interruption hug. He was like,
He quickly was like, no, you don't. You're not getting knocked out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Well, then you're going to have to tell me. So that, again, out of necessity, A Night of Hope was born. Because then I started to figure out, okay, how can we provide an outlet where we can provide hope? How can we provide a space? And it started, it's like we've gained so much contacts over the years. So I reached out to a few close artist friends of mine. It's like, we're thinking about doing this. Can you send something? And nearly all of us said, yes, we're in.
Now, for like the testimonies that you've been hearing,
yeah.
Have they given you hope in your own Christian walk?
Yes.
Like, has there been one that just like sparked you?
I was hit the first time that I came because I didn't. I think you might have an idea, but sometimes you don't really fully know the wide-ranging impacts that you have. I think later on in this year, especially when Night of Hope fully started getting out there, and it was only supposed to be one shot, and then 2 happened, and then we turned into this blockbuster thing on 3, where it was 4 hours long over the summer. And then before we know it, it turned into a monthly event. And I came out here in October, is when I came out here. A couple of the artists were like, we want you to come out here for the show. I'm like, if I can swing it, I'll do it. So we brought the show out here. I'll tell you, my heart at the time, and I love sharing this story because it impacted me in more ways than people can imagine. Because my thing is, I was going to come out there and say thanks to everybody who came on the show, who was a part of it. That was my hardest, to give thanks to everybody else.
That's so nice.
What ended up happening, actually, in reality, was just as much the flip side, the other direction. Where literally I was hearing story after story after story. Like, for the longest time, I had no idea you were in the Northwest, or, you know, you gave us a shot when others wouldn't. You know, what was refreshing to push us forward is you said yes when others were saying no. And so which is honestly one of my favorite parts of the job, is helping people who have a gift, who really need just that gentle encouragement push to keep going, helping to further them along. Will we have some big names on? Okay, sure, we do. But at the same time, just seeing not only in viewers alike, but the number of like artists and guests that have been impacted, to me, that's everything, because then it just says this thing's doing its job.
Right. You know, see, that's the beauty in the show, is that, you know, it started with the foundation of Christ, and when you like follow his will and say yes instead of saying no, you said yes and you put him first. That's what happened. And that's why the show, you know, too, is it's growing tremendously, because people are seeing the light in you too, Joe. They're seeing it in you, not just the testimonies, but you're doing so much for the kingdom just by that one day you said yes. You see, so it's like, it's so powerful, you know, just that alone, that little word you just said is powerful. You know, people sometimes have a hard time in moments of uncertainty, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. I want to say no, but I want to say yes because I want to do what's right for the kingdom or God or my family, whatever the case is, friends, whatever it could be. But you said, yes, I'm going to do this, God. And you didn't give up. And that's the hope in it too. And I think that's what's also been, you know, helping people's hearts. And it's just, it's a very powerful thing. And I'm very blessed that you're here with us today to talk about this, because that hope is all in that answer, yes, for the Lord. So it's pretty awesome. So I have another question for you, Joe. Right. I'm going to ask that one after, actually. But first, I'm going to ask you, and it's going to go, I think, pretty good what we were talking about here. I asked this one to everyone that comes on. So what advice, you know, so I'm 20 now. What advice would you give to yourself at 20 years old today as a Christian?
A couple things immediately come to mind. I would probably say, one, I would say just give it to God and don't sweat the small stuff. Life is a journey, and enjoy it, because I think I had a tendency at times to, sometimes in the things we want to do, sometimes we can, I think I did, being always easygoing, it kind of came with a negative side effect of that too, and I was always non-confrontational, which I mean, it helps me to, you know, help people come together, be a peacemaker. That gift is, I think, part of the reason why I'm able to do that. But at the same time, the way that I had a drive growing up, I had a tendency to set the bar so high for myself that I don't want to say I was borderline perfectionist, but I was always set goals that I could never really attain reasonably. And so that wasn't healthy. And I was always, you know, I always tried new things, but in the back of my mind, I was always ready for the negative criticism. I was always ready for failure. But at the same time, that's when the compliments came and the positive, I wasn't ready for that and didn't know how to properly like receive it. And so, in that same token, I guess what I would say is serve the Lord. Don't worry so much about people's opinions. Obviously, if you're in it, if you're doing what you love, you obviously are, do it with the right heart, do it unto the Lord, serve as best as you can. Don't worry so much about perfection, because God will work through that imperfection and bless it more than you ever could trying to get it perfect. That's not what it's about. If you're doing it the best you can with excellence, if you're doing it with the right heart, if you're doing it with the right motive, God will honor that. And some of that I had to learn over the years, where as long as I did that, the rest will sort itself out and I don't have to worry about it. And as a result, there was a lot less things as the years went on that I may have like thought about, but I didn't worry about it anymore. Because really, in events that have happened in the last couple of years, the Lord has really refined in me the importance of being able to live in the moment. That is really ingrained in me through different things that I can't look back so far on yesterday where I'm crippled, and I can't focus so far ahead where I miss the opportunities where it could be used today because I'm thinking so far ahead. So I would say also the importance of just staying in the moment, being aware of how God is being and wants to use you today, because that's where he's calling us to have the greatest impact, is what's right in front of us. Right. And so I don't want anybody who's serving to miss the joy and the beauty in that, because it's cliche, but life's really about the journey. And if you get too far ahead of yourself and you get too far back of yourself, you're not going to be able to enjoy what's right in front of you, what he's doing right now.
Right. Live in the moment. Don't be going all over the place. It's very difficult. And that really resonated with me, Joe, because, it's hard for me because actually I struggle with perfection. I want to be perfectionist on everything in life. I analyze to a T, and it's actually something that I have to pray about a lot. So it's a very hard thing for me. So that really spoke to me because, life is, when you're living it to the fullest, you're doing it and you're in the presence of the Lord, everything comes together, and I really, really like how you were sharing that with us. I think that it's a very strong message itself, because we need to hear that. We need to see that God is with us and we can make every day count, every moment count. We can have those moments. And it keeps popping in my head. My mom painted this painting, and you saw it, Joe.
Yeah.
And it was this painting of Sodom and Gomorrah. And it was when she turned into a pillar of salt. God said, don't look back. And she looked back anyway, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Yeah. And that painting, every time I look at it, it reminds me, no matter what, no matter how much I want to perfect something, you don't have to, because you're already perfect with the Lord. We're not perfect, but with the Lord we can be. We can have confidence in Christ. We can strive with Christ. And that's so powerful what you were saying. So thank you for that, for sharing that.
And I think during this time, part of the reason, and sometimes we guys said part of the reason why we come on as often as we do, the situations in my life where I'm able to do it a little more, but this is must feel this. Platforms like ours and all of the people who do what we do in our circle that have the right heart for it, there is so much going on these days in our world, and there's so much. You turn on the television, you turn on social media, there's so much negative stuff going on. And so I try as hard as we can to have this be a little bit for an hour or however long we're on, to be a bit of an escape from all that. We don't need to spend an hour focusing on hot button topics like politics or whatever. There's enough of that out there. I don't need to be contributing to that. It's not what I want. It's just an hour of just entertaining, just inspiring conversation. Some shows are about songs and music, just playing something that'll get somebody through their day. Or maybe in some situations now it's just the next moment. And so there's so much just depression going on, more than the average, with everything that we're under right now. And so the way it provides a little bit of hope, a little bit of an escape. And so the fact that it is able to do that, or that it can do that, that's just hearing a story or a message come through like that, seemingly at the right moment, it really drives me to keep doing and continues to motivate me to do what I do.
So powerful. That's some powerful stuff. When you can sit in a room and you can feel the Holy Spirit. Wow. Well, he can definitely feel it. I think I agree with you. The media it's just a mess. It's a disaster to a point where it's like we need that escape in the healthy media. And the Lord is blessing through that. And we have to remember that we might be tempted to look at the other stuff, but if we think about it, if we just take that minute to say, you know what, I'm going to say yes to you, Lord, and say no to the other thing, kind of like what Joe did in his testimony there. That's what we got to do. We just got to keep saying yes to the Lord, and the Lord will guide. And there's peace in that. There's so much peace in that. There's goodness, and the media becomes good because we are following Christ. We're following his will and are not our own will. So that's some good stuff this morning. I got another question for you, Joe.
All right. Oh, the random box.
I got beautiful box from the heavens, guys. It's gold. I like the gold. I'm like, let me put this down so I don't spill my coffee.
Let's see what we got here.
Yesterday, Joe, I spilled coffee on my marshmallow coat. Yes, I call it my marshmallow coat because it is big and it's fluffy and it's champagne and I love it. And I was so sad, Joe, because
did it wreck it?
No, but my mom was like, Heather, it's okay. It's just a coat. And I'm like,
you don't understand.
It's my new coat. It's my new coat. Like, I love my new coat. And it was just so sad.
New too?
Yeah, my Christmas coat. It was my new coat. And it's so warm. And it's champagne. And if you get coffee on it, so it was a whole mess. But, all right. I'm going to let you pick.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know what? That's what morning's like. And now, what is your favorite worship song and why? Christian?
Oh, no. Where's I get that? Oh, yeah.
Get that one.
Great. Flip that the other direction. It's kind of like the what's on your playlist question that I asked. I figured I'd get one of those thrown back at me. There are a couple that come to mind over the years. There are a couple. I think it depends on it. Kind of every couple of years, it maybe changes a little bit depending on what I might be going through and stuff like that. I think one of my favorites over the years, and actually when I heard it at a festival, I just lost it because it just meant a lot of the time, was when One Thing Remains. Christian Stanfill did that. I heard it perform. I was just like, wow. Because to me, it was just powerful. And it just spoke of no matter what happens, one thing remains. And it just gave me motivation to be able to get through anything. And just to hear that live was just so powerful. A couple of the newer ones, obviously, Waymaker's been powerful.
I love Waymaker.
Team Waymaker. Waymaker's been powerful in my life. There's another one. My fear doesn't stand a chance. Stand in your love. In fact, little known fact, a version of that is going to be on Night of Hope this Saturday. So really looking forward to that.
Speaking of Night of Hope, tell us about Night of Hope
Saturday. We'll get there. And then another one, one of the first songs I ever listened to and found Christian music in was a couple of Michael W. Smith songs.
Oh, yes.
Place in This World.
Those are good.
And then The Cries, Take My Hand. I was going to tell Jason Gray when I have him on next month, I was like, the songs more like Fall in Love and Remind Me Who I Am are two of like, especially I was going to tell him about Remind Me Who I Am, because it's just like one of those things where I think everyone, especially now, needs that reminder of who we are, what we're made of in him. And sometimes we just need that reminder to just keep pressing on and just keep doing.
Pressing on, yeah.
So there's been a number of favorites, and me just being a connoisseur, just a lover of music of different kinds. It's hard to pick an ultimate favorite because depending on my mood and just depending on what's going on, I might gravitate towards.
That's how I am
different
too.
one
Like I can't.
every time.
It's all about the mood. It really is. Like when I'm nice and calm and relaxed and I got my candle lit at night and I'm just like relaxing before I go to sleep, I'll play Carrie Joe Speak to Me. I don't know why, but that one hits me, man.
Right.
She's so anointed, but like that piece in that song is like it's so relaxing. Most of her songs are just like that. It's just calming. Yeah. But then there's days where I want to sing, we're going down to the river.
So Jordan Felice, that's another one.
I love that song. That's such a great song. And then I like some Jeremy Camp. I like a lot of that stuff. But I know the feeling because it's very hard, and I can only imagine. Like that one hits me. There's just moments. There's moments for each one when they hit you, and that's why the Lord places them for certain moments to be heard.
I got an opportunity to watch I Can Only Imagine the movie. Sent that to
that was so good. It was so good.
Before it was released in theaters, so I had a quiet little
yeah.
I watched this movie. It's not even out yet.
It's really good. You guys gotta check that out. I Can Only Imagine. You guys will love it. It was very good. Did you see Jeremy Camp's I Still Believe? That was so good. And man, his testimony too. That's a powerful one,
I've heard his testimony live, and then when he does that, and then he goes into just this impactful song right after that, it's just
I know. It's
every time I hear it, he does it in a different way live. It's just oh, I gotta do that, man.
No, I know. Because it's the Holy Spirit, The Holy Spirit just moves in so many different ways, and it's beautiful,
Yeah.
And they're all good ways too.
Yeah.
But I got something special for you, Joe.
Oh boy.
But bam! Interruption hug.
Woo!
Lord's saying he's proud of you.
Yeah, see, I don't know. On the show, I forgot we got gifts around here.
Well, the Lord loves you.
Everybody needs themselves one of these. See, I'm gonna have to wait. Well, maybe not right now. I don't think I can fit this over the sweater. But thank you.
Of course.
Thank
you.
Anytime. So good to see
you guys see how we're matching?
Wait, we coordinated.
We didn't plan it. We ended up having one that matched. All right. So next up, we're gonna come back in a few minutes. And we are going to be playing the interview game.
Get ready.
And so before we do though, guys, just wanted to shout out Kat Lee. She's going to be on the show next week, 9 a.m. Interruption Hug with Heather Rae. So you guys got to check her out. You guys will love her. All right, we'll be back. It's taken a second. And I'm here with Joseph Neal, Christian Media Spotlight. Guys, before I mention the game that we're going to play, the interview game, and what it's about, Joe is going to tell us about Night of Hope on Saturday.
So the next one, so we've done so much stuff lately, and I would say just stay tuned to what we've got coming because we just launched an audio podcast sponsored by Anchor.fm. It's also being distributed to Spotify, Google Podcasts, so that's going to be an extension of what we do. News articles coming, a new website coming down the road, potential merch runs that people have been long awaited asking for are on the way. We're planning on doing Night of Hope more individualized concerts. We did one last year, so we want to focus individual artists more. So we're going to have individualized concerts being scheduled more throughout the year on the show with any love offerings that we take that night going directly back to the artist to support and supplement what they're doing right now.
Awesome.
And so the Night of Hope music shows is where, and what I love about this is we try to interact with fans as much as possible. And so everything down to the slogan was developed and conceived by who we dub our Spotlight community. So when you hear us use the slogan, the term sharing hope through worship, that was developed by our Spotlight community. We solicit opinions for what does this series mean to you? How would you describe in a slogan the series? And there are several options that came up, and this is the one that our consulting group, this is what we landed on. And so it really just describes what we do. It's usually averages about a 3-hour broadcast. We will have a kickoff show, which is usually half hour before we kick on the stream. We were just going to have music, but we ended up at the last second having an interview guest. So we'll have Eric, lead singer from Boiling Point, to talk about Hopeless Here, the brand new single. And it's very timely that we did that because we're going to be starting off Night of Hope 9, which has an agape love theme to it, with the world premiere of Hopeless Here, their first installment of their mini documentary series. So we'll have that right away kicking off the show before it goes to their YouTube. And we are ending up, it was a slow start promotion, but we ended up again close to 30 artists that are going to be on this show, and a 3-hour spectacular, different genres. There's something in it for everyone. We love featuring different styles from all musical walks of life. And so our next one will be this Saturday night on our channels, Facebook, YouTube, simulcast to local television in the Northwest. And it all leads up after that to a huge 1-year anniversary celebration where we're going all out March 19th and 20th for the first time ever. It's going to be a 2-night celebration. We are putting the invite out to all 85 different artists who have been a part of Night of Hope over this last year to come back and celebrate with us. So it could be a bigger music spectacular than anything we've ever seen before.
Awesome.
So March 19th and 20th is when we'll commemorate the 1-year anniversary celebration with Night of Hope 10.
The kingdom is moving. Kingdom is moving. That is so exciting. I bet you're like, you feel like falling off your chair half the time because you're just like, well, geez, Lord, bringing out the big stuff.
This one surprised me because it came out of nowhere. Because it was like, for the longest time, we were sitting and we were like, I mean, this is going to be an easy show. We were sitting at 5, 6, 7 artists. We were just kind of hanging there for a while. And it almost felt like, I don't want to use that term, but it almost felt in some ways like an afterthought or an appetizer to what we were building over here. So for a little bit, it was almost like it was forgotten about. But then just things started happening and things started coming together. And I was sitting there at one point last week and I'm just going over the names. And I'm starting to take inventory, and I'm counting the names. I'm like, how did that happen? I'm like, we ended up with 28 names.
That is awesome.
I mean, to give people context, I was like, that's probably quantity-wise, if that stands, or if the last edition or 2 gets added, which happens, that could be the second highest total of all time.
That is awesome.
Breaking Night of Hope 7.
It's reaching multiple.
And so sometimes the challenge is keeping it moving fast enough to where it stays in that 3-hour time window. And sometimes that can be a challenge, but it's...
Hey, when it's in God's time, it just moves. It just moves, and it's amazing because everything through Christ is just always so good. So like just seeing like the hope that's pouring out, God's hope, like that's just, it's amazing. It really is. The show is just...
My favorite is seeing the comments of just how supportive the community is.
I love that too.
To especially the number of different artists who may be tuning in and seeing some of their stuff and just seeing the amount of just love and impact. It's just like, you think you would see it more often, especially in social media. You really hoped you would, but it's something that I realized it's like, this is a rare breed. Not only to have people as interactive as they are and engaged and involved as they are, but sharing so much hope and encouragement. And one of my international artists reached out to me and she said, recapping the show, she's like, what really surprises me in a great way is the amount of just encouragement and positivity that everyone is. Everyone is so supportive of each other there, and she's like, it's refreshing to see because you just don't see that as often as you should nowadays in social media. So to hear that and to get that kind of feedback, that to me is why community over this last year has been just as much of an importance of what we do as much as anything nowadays.
Well, it's just amazing too, because like you can see so much of the Holy Spirit in your show, and how people are not just like, you know, the Bible talks about coming together, and like when you see people coming together in the body of Christ and commenting and giving compassion, and you know, we're going to be doing a new show too, another show edition with Interruption Hug Ministries that we talked about, and it's going to be the fruit of the Spirit, and it's going to be talking a lot about that. And so as we're talking about that, you know, hope is a big foundation from the Lord.
Yeah.
And it has to, when there's hope, it's not just the word hope. There's more to that word. There's the fruit of the Spirit. There's goodness. There's kindness. There's compassion. There's love. There's gentleness. There's self-control. There's so many different forgiveness. There's so many different things with that. Yeah. And when you see that on your show, like you're talking about, it's like other platforms nowadays are so blah. Blah. You know, there's just things that are not good right now with it, because, you know, of course, we know there's a ruler of the world. We know there's an enemy. We know there's those things, and you know, the enemy takes over those things because he's the world. But God always wins. He always does.
Amen.
And he's always there. And so I just think it's an amazing thing, because he's saying like, hey, let's all work together. Let's come together. And that's what your show's doing. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the light like that.
If you watch the opening minute of our NFL shows, and it was something we had our announcer do, and it's stayed there. And the Stable Glory show, before the third one of the summer, I wanted to put together an intro, and for that I solicited what the scripture describes hope to you. So
I like that.
We wanted 3 or 4 different scriptures that if you watch and you see, those are the ones that display on screen. While at the same time, I had my announcer, we worked out a script for the announcer to read, basically explaining the emphasis of what hope is and why we do this show. And if you look, you know, all these different facets of hope, where, you know, hope is a foundational cornerstone of our faith. Hope is there to give us a future, to prosper us and give us a future. You know, hope is there, you know, faith, hope, and love, a cornerstone of our faith. Hope, if you look at what faith is a substance of things hoped for, yet not seen. And so for people, if they lose that hope, what do they have to live for at that point? Because if they lose that hope, their joy and everything else is not going to be far behind it. And so to give people, when whatever they're going through, that hope just of God's promises, of just that encouragement, whatever, whether it be a word, a song, whatever it is that strikes them, whatever God has for them in that moment, that's what we want for them, is for God to give them whatever they need, just to hear a voice from the Father, whatever they need at that moment.
Amen.
That's what we hope for happens at some point during that show. It's some encounter for them on a personal level with that hope that comes down from the Lord.
That's amazing. And that's an amazing thing that, you know, God is putting through you to do for the kingdom. And it's just, even the people on your show that are commenting, that they're kingdom builders too. We're all kingdom builders. Yeah. We all can be kingdom builders with the love of Christ, the fruit of the Spirit, and Him before our own will, when we put His first. And that's exactly what the show's doing. It's bringing out God's love and hope because of the foundation of choosing His will over our own. And that is the beautiful thing. We're choosing to share His love. We're choosing to express it. And that is what is needed in this world, especially on social media platforms. You need it, you need that love, you need the hope. And so it's great. It really is. So,
and,
but yeah.
And I want to, some people come at me and yes, I carry the mantle. Yes, pretty much all the stuff you see, I've had a hand in a role in editing, but I tell people all the time, it's very important. If any of our, communities watching right now, I say this a lot, especially this last year with how much we've grown. I and the small crew that works on the show with me on occasion couldn't do what we do without you playing a part doing what you do. And even yourself and other artists that come on the show, a big debt of gratitude and thanks goes out to you guys, because without you sharing those stories, sharing those testimonies, sharing those encouragement through song and things like that, the show, frankly, wouldn't exist. It wouldn't, because there would be no stories. There would be no Night of Hope series. And so it takes a community, it takes a village, it takes everybody. So as I remind people, it isn't just me. The beauty of this is everybody coming together, everybody playing that piece of the puzzle. And so and it's realizing we all have a piece of that puzzle to play, and each piece is just as valuable as any of the other pieces in that puzzle. So whether it be our community that watches, some of our crew that participates, whether it be artists like yourself that take part and share their gifts and talents and times, a big thanks and gratitude goes out to everybody, because again, without everybody doing their part, this show it flat out wouldn't exist. And that's the truth.
Well, it's just amazing when everybody comes together. That's what God wants, Yeah. But it's beautiful. It really is. I'm just so proud of everything that I'm seeing God's unfolding through ministries. And I'm glad that we, can come together on 2 different platforms, 2 different TV shows, and be able to actually, come together and talk about that. Because, when we work together in the body of Christ, the light's there. And he's proud, and he's working through that, and he wants that. He wants people to receive the hope and love that he has in God's heart. He wants that for you guys. God wants that. So, next thing we got is we have a game for you guys. It's called the interview game. So how this works, I'm going to explain it real quick. How it works is basically me and Joe had 2 separate pieces of paper, and we wrote down our answers of the questions that were being asked. Then we switched the papers, and you guys are going to be, we're going to be right back in a minute, and you guys are going to see us actually ask each other these questions that we had to memorize while you guys are gone. So, for a minute, because, we'll be back in like 30 seconds.
What's up, guys? Emily Hope here. Just wanted to invite you guys to an awesome event I'm going to be a part of this weekend. So, Christian Media Spotlight is putting together an awesome event for artists like me, cross country, and it's called Night of Hope, sharing hope through worship. And so, I have submitted a fun video. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So please tune into this event. It's going to be Saturday, February 13th. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube on Christian Media Spotlight's channels and pages. And it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. for my Central peeps. So please tune in. It's going to be great. We'll see you soon.
And you're wrong.
Hi guys. So it was really hard to explain it, but I know that's so we only had 30 seconds to basically review our answers from each other. So I just looked at Joe's answer, he looked at my answers, and now we have to ask each other the questions and try to remember what we said. So that's why it was hard to explain before. But anyway, you guys got it. So, all right, Joe, you go first.
Okay. Do we ask these in order?
Yeah, yes.
So, Heather, what is my favorite color?
I already forgot. Is it blue?
Yes, I think it is actually, yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Joe, what is my favorite color?
I believe it was light pink, wasn't it?
Yes. You got it. Okay. Joe, or you go. I forgot. It's your turn.
I don't think we asked this one.
Oh, all right. Next question.
What's
then.
next one?
I don't remember that.
Heather, do I prefer this or that? Do I prefer an ocean or a pool?
You said ocean.
I did. I did.
Do I prefer an ocean or a pool?
I believe you said pool.
I did. I said pool. Okay, Joe.
Heather, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one at all. Do I prefer a cat or a dog?
I feel like you said dogs.
I did, yes.
Do I prefer cats?
But I love cats just the same. If I'm watching it,
I like cats
makes
too.
him upset with me. Did you say dog?
I said dog, yeah.
Oh.
All right. Oh, this was the hard one, guys. This was hard for me. All right, Joe. Do I like burgers or pizza better?
You were going back and forth for the longest time
I
on
know.
that, but
I couldn't decide.
I believe you settled on burgers.
Yes, I did. I said burgers. I wanted to say pizza because of the cheese, but then I wanted to say burgers because of the pickles, so I couldn't decide. So I went with burgers because I like pickles.
Winter or summer?
Oh, wait, I didn't ask you.
Oh,
Did you say pizza or burger?
Which one? Oh, that's right. You shouldn't answer that one.
Wait a minute. No, I just answered that.
No, I said you said burgers. Remember? You said on burgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you said, I think you said pizza.
I did.
Okay, I got confused.
Wow, aren't we?
Oh my god, it's early in the morning, guys. That's our excuse. All right. All right. Do I like coffee or tea, Joe?
That would be coffee.
I like coffee. Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Oh yeah. I think you said coffee. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, because I like tea too.
Yeah,
All right.
I do too.
This one was hard for me because I don't like either, but I had to choose one.
Mm.
So, do I like Coke or Pepsi?
I believe you said Coke.
Yeah, I said Coke, even though I don't drink soda anymore. You said Pepsi.
No.
Dang it! I lose a point. And I'll tell you guys what the prize, guys. We have a special prize for this. So if I end up getting, if I win, then Joe is going to be on my show again. And then if he wins, I'll be on his show. Did I say that right? Or is it the other way around?
Let's face it, probably both are going to happen anyway at some point. But,
I don't know. It's a lot. Anyway, it's probably one of those. But anyway, you guys know the prize. Okay, what are we on? We're on pancakes and waffles.
Yeah. I think we skipped that one. We can come back to it.
No, because we did Coke or Pepsi.
No,
Did I ask?
winter or summer?
Yeah, I never did that one.
My order's not.
Oh, we're not on the same sheet here? Oh boy.
What? Oh, we skipped one. No, yeah, you're right. Okay, winter or summer? Do I like winter or summer?
Oh no, that's the one that I didn't pay attention to. Did you say summer?
Yeah, I like summer.
Oh.
You said summer.
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Even women.
Okay.
All right, we're doing pretty good actually.
Yeah,
We're
we
not too
actually
bad.
are. Wow.
All right, guys. Let us know how we're doing on this game. Early riser or night owl, Joe? I think I know the answer to that.
For you, I think you said early riser.
Yes, I'm an early riser. And you're a night owl.
Yeah, I am, admittedly, because I've been that way kind of for years. My day job that I do during the day, there are 2 nights a week where I work until 10 p.m. my time in the administration staff, so I'm already up later. Plus, I'm one of those creative folks that I tend to work best uninterrupted when it's quiet, everybody's gone to bed. I figure I can get an hour or two of just solid plow through it, uninterrupted work done. And so oftentimes, before I know, it's like, oh, it's 1 in the morning. I'm going to bed.
You like to stay up late. Oh man, I like to go to bed early. I'm like one of an early bird.
In a perfect world, I'm trying to be. And see, out here is helping because when I got up at 8 o'clock this morning, I was like, it's 5 a.m. my time. I'm an early riser today.
It's such an exciting feeling, I bet, in a different location because it's such a weird feeling too. Because you're like, wait, oh. All right, where are we at? We're on.
I think we skipped one again.
Did we?
Pancakes or waffles?
Yes, we did. Okay. Oh, because we're going back. That's why.
Yeah.
All right, pancakes or waffles? I think you said. Did you say? I think you said waffles.
No.
Dang it! I was going with waffles because it's not pancakes this time.
I think you said pancakes, didn't you?
Yeah, I said pancakes because
Okay.
I feel like everyone says pancakes, so I went with the more of like the one you don't really hear on common because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Hellman's or Miracle Whip? I think you said Miracle Whip.
I did,
Okay.
because strangely enough, we don't have Hellman's out there.
Really?
That's so
No,
strange.
it's a regional West Coast, East Coast thing in reality. I think they're the same company,
Yeah.
but out here it's more Hellman's. Out on the West Coast where we are, it's more Best Foods brand.
They don't have Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
I'm like, how could you not have Dunkin' Donuts? I'm like, you told me that yesterday. I'm like, are you serious?
We have basically Seattle area being the coffee capital. We have every coffee chain known to man, local and national. The one we admittedly don't have out there yet. I think we did. We did years upon years ago, but for whatever reason, we do not have the Dunkin' Donuts out there.
It's so strange.
Chick-fil-A, yes, finally. Dunkin',
I
no.
love
Still not
Chick-fil-A.
yet.
Comment down below if you like Chick-fil-A or Dunkin' Donuts. You have to pick one.
Every time I'm out here now, I have to get Dunkin' at least once or twice. So.
I like Dunkin'. Dunkin's so good. Do you have like a favorite like donut that you like or like a favorite coffee?
Oh gosh. Coffee. Now it kind of depends on the season because I tend to be more warm drinks during the winter, and I tend to switch over to cold drinks during the summer. So during the winter, I oftentimes will get something seasonal that I usually can't get, like eggnog, or there's one.
Right.
I think chestnut praline that Starbucks does, something like that during the winter. Year round, peppermint flavor usually is a good one for me.
Peppermint.
So
I haven't tried that.
sometimes I'll get peppermint with my Americano or like vanilla or something like that.
I like French vanilla.
Yeah, and
French
during the
vanilla.
summer I'll tend to switch more to like cold brews. Just because it's ice.
Yeah.
So I tend to gravitate more towards that in the summer.
I get my special drink. My special drink. When it's
Special.
My special. And it's on an occasion.
Do tell.
Okay, so I'm glad you're so interested. I really wanted to tell you guys what I get. So what I get is I get an ice mocha drink. But what I do is when I pull up to the thing, I'm like, okay, so this is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to take some almond milk, put that in there. And I need you guys to load the mocha up because I like it so chocolatey to a point where it's like, they're like, you can't even drink that because it's mostly chocolate. And then I'm like, sometimes I get so excited for the drink. I tell them that I want it like with so much mocha. And then I'm like, I shouldn't have said that because now the cup is like half full with mocha. And I'm like, I can't drink that. But like,
there's
so I have to
coffee in here now.
I know, I have to tell them to put like a little bit of the almond milk because I drink straight black coffee during the winter, hot black coffee. That's what I like, and then I'll get like a French vanilla, like when it's when I go out. But then during the summer, that's my treat. Do you have like a special treat that you get, like that you're just like, that's your thing?
Oh. You know, a lot of times we have like when we have a lot of the coffee shops have loyalty programs out there, so we end up getting the free ones. I'll just end up getting like sometimes like the most expensive thing on the menu, and sometimes I'll be just adventurous to try new things. There is this one I think they do during the season. Peppermint's good. It's usually really good flavor. There is this. Oh, I forget what it was. What was this? Just amazing espresso. I forget what it was, but they did this sort of like I don't even know if they do it anymore. It's like this orange vanilla flavored sort of thing. It's like an orange citrus notes, but it was vanilla and just this strong espresso. It was like
that sounds so good. I was not expecting orange vanilla. That sounds so good though.
It was like and during the winter time right now, I think they have some sort of like an orange, like a citrus like latte or something right now. It's just like these. It was like orange, but it's also got like cinnamon notes and stuff like in there. It's just this. It's actually pretty good.
You know what we should do sometime? We should actually do a show with just tasting different coffees, and then we should like be like, you have won the coffee from Joseph Neal. You have won the coffee from.
That's actually what I should bring. I usually try to bring like.
We should make our own coffee. That's what we should do.
Oh.
That's what we should do. We should create our very own flavor.
I should bring some coffee from the Northwest next time. I never think about that.
Because I was telling Joe, I need to get one of those coffee mugs from Christian Media Spotlight. So there we go. We're gonna make our own flavor, and we're gonna put it in there.
There we go.
It's gonna have the Holy Spirit right in it, guys. All right. So what's our next one, Joe?
Number 12, I think. Cake or pie.
Oh, that was hard for me. That was really hard, and I actually regretted my answer too. I think. You said, guys, help me out. I know you guys don't know the answer, but I wish you could help me out.
That one I don't remember either.
I think you said pie.
I did.
Did you say pie?
I did.
Oh, okay, got it. That was a guess.
Did you say the same thing?
No, I said cake.
Oh, no.
I wish I said pie, though, because I love apple pie.
I got one wrong.
Yeah, I love apple pie. Anyway. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
How many points are we, like?
Joseph's ahead.
All right, Ryan.
Yep, by one.
Joe! All right. Walk or run, Joe?
I think you said run.
I did say run. Did you say, you said run?
I did.
That was one that I was happy about because there's not a lot of people that like to run.
I did because admittedly, I haven't done it as much. Admittedly, I was track was my thing.
Yay!
Track is my thing.
Whenever people say they like track, I get so excited. My like little girl voice comes out, guys.
I was one of those rare distance runner guys.
Really? I love long distance.
Yeah.
Oh man, we can go for an hour on that. Don't even get me started. I have long conversations about track, so that's why I'm gonna move on. Because it'll be on and you guys will be like, oh come on. Like, all right, so video games or board games? I'm gonna guess you said video games.
I did. Yes. It's just where I tend. I still will drag out a board game. I think lately, just because it's probably easier, requires less work. I think I can sit down, plop in a video game, and I think you said board game.
I did say board game. Who doesn't love a family night with a board game and just? We haven't done that in years, but we used to sit around, Joe, our whole family, and play Uno.
Yes,
Uno. It was a full night of Uno.
All right.
I love Uno.
We played this Uno game not that long ago. There's so many different variants now. Where there's this Uno game where the front of the deck is a different set.
Oh, is it the new one, like the one that
Where there's different action cards where you actually flip the deck and play the other side with different colors and different actions.
I haven't seen that.
It's like a whole other element.
Oh, come on. Okay, maybe it's really good. I haven't played it, but I'm just saying they go crazy when they like to overdo stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have. It's interesting. It adds a
whole other
flip.
You know what? I might like it. I don't know. I'll have to see. you know how they do it with Oreos? They like go crazy. They'll keep adding new flavors, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy. Do you guys have a favorite Oreo flavor, by the way?
There's like Girl Scout ones now. There's like I saw gluten-free ones the other day, and there's
gluten-free. Yeah, they have gluten-free. It's good. I like the double stuff though, guys. Those little thin ones, come on. That's not fun at all.
I actually did not know the other day. I ran in and like I didn't think they had these. They had double stuffed Nutter Butters.
What? Nutter
Like, I didn't think that was a thing.
I think I saw one time too. They have Fruit Loop ones. Am I wrong?
What?
I swear I saw Fruit Loop ones. It was
Fruit Loop.
what is some of these
What?
flavors? God.
Wow.
I never thought I would be laughing so hard over Oreos, but okay. Before I fall off the chair.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gross, right? I don't know why I'm doing that. What was the candy we just tried, Mom?
Snickers brownies.
Snicker
That
brownie.
wasn't bad. That
I
wasn't
didn't
bad.
like it at all. Snicker brownie. It was horrible. Like it had like no. It had like that flavor of the Snicker, but the brownie part overpowered the Snicker. But like, here's my analyzing. It was like literally so like not like soft and moist. It was like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stale?
Yeah. It was stale. It was stale, and it just like was not.
Wasn't feeling it.
It wasn't good. But anyway, moving on. Movies or sitcoms? You said sitcoms.
I did, yeah, because I tend to, I don't know, I enjoy movies, especially, there are some good ones that I'll watch. I think with just sometimes the amount of time I have, sometimes it's easier to sit down and watch a half-hour sitcom.
I agree.
And just laugh, especially as I haven't watched it in a while. So if I watch TV in short spurts, it's sometimes easier to sit down and watch a 20-minute half-hour sitcom.
We're going to quiz the audience. We're going to ask them, what's our favorite sitcom? Because I chose movies, but I kind of regret it because I
She
do have
gave
a
away
favorite
her
sitcom.
answer.
I know, it's okay.
She gave away her answer.
I cheated.
I was going to say that
She
anyway.
loses a point for that. She loses a point for that.
I cheated. I know. Oh well. But guess down below.
Well, that was easy.
I got a little ahead of myself. I know. I got excited. Oh man, I bet you guys are having a cheerful morning behind the screen. You guys are like, yo, they had some coffee this morning. But yes, guess down below what our favorite sitcom is, because I want to see if you guys can figure out mine, because mine is not really common to watch nowadays, and I love it. So it's a great sitcom.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you, Joe. Maybe I'll tell you, but I don't know. We'll see.
We can't just leave it like that.
Just leave it hanging.
I want to know what yours is too. I'm curious.
I have a few different ones. Oh, are we just going into it now?
No, we're not gonna tell. We're gonna let them guess.
We'll save it to the end.
guess.
We'll save it to the end.
Okay.
All right.
Reading or audiobooks? I think you said reading.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be wrong on that one because
No, yeah, I did. I think you said reading
I
too.
said reading.
Okay.
Because I've never tried like listening to an audiobook because it costs so much money to do like the subscriptions. Whatever. I can't
weird.
choose that.
See, a lot of people listen to like audiobooks when I'm in the car. My thing is, I listen a lot of times to music when I'm in the car, just because if I need something like motivating when I'm driving and stuff like that, there's just something about an audiobook. I just don't want it to be so soothing. I'm tempted to fall asleep.
Right.
Especially
when you're driving, it's
what's
not smart.
really weird to help me absorb it sometimes, especially if it's really good narration, sometimes I'll actually be weird enough. I think we've done this a few times to actually listen to the audiobook while reading the actual book. As strange as that sounds, the narration is good. It adds
I do that too. I do that with the Bible app. That's the only thing that I would say audio related for books, because that's all I like actually have like for like free audio. So that's what I do. I listen to like the Bible app sometimes, and I have to stare and read at the same time, or I start to like kind of zone in on the words and I fall asleep. Most of the time I play it at night. It's actually very peaceful, guys. Playing the audio thing. There's that Bible app. It's a great app. You guys should check it out if you know what it is. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next one was Crocs or barefoot.
I believe you said Barefoot?
I said barefoot. You said barefoot.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Who likes Crocs? Oh, I'm sorry, Pastor Lee.
Uh-oh.
I just remembered. My pastor loves Crocs, and I just don't understand what is.
So hear about that next week.
Oh man. He's gonna be like, oh boy. I don't get it though. I used to wear them when I was little, but they're
She'll
weird.
have that clip on the ready. Who likes Crocs?
It's true though. I mean, they're really weird.
You know what I actually saw on Facebook last night? I was having fun with. Speaking of which, on Facebook there was this little meme. You know how sometimes you replace like words with a certain word, and there was this thing I read just before I recorded, but I couldn't resist myself. It said, replace a title of a worship song that has the word cross in it with Crocs. I was like, oh, no, don't do that. I was like, I won't be able to stop.
Oh God!
Lead me to the Crocs.
We were really questioning that question too. Now I understand why. Oh man, honestly, if you wear Crocs, comment down below.
If you're one of those that actually wearing Crocs,
do a little analyzing for me and explain why the shoe.
Explain yourself.
Explain why the shoe is like worth wearing, because I don't understand Pastor Lee or people that wear it. It looks comfy, but I don't get it. Anyway, no judgments here.
Just
Just
as long as
saying.
he doesn't wear socks with sandals.
Oh, you know, there was times where I would have to run out, let the dogs out in my socks and sandals, and I'm saying to myself, this is so uncomfortable. If people wear this, I don't understand. I even saw this one thing one time on What Not to Wear. You know that show, What Not to Wear? That was a great show. Anyway, there was this woman that wore toe socks. Again, no judgments, guys. But she was wearing toe socks, and I was just like,
You're like,
what are those? It's like, these don't make any sense. Like, do they keep your feet warm? Like, and I guess that makes sense for the sandal then, but you know. Oh gosh, over Crocs, I'm dying right now. All right, formal wear or casual wear? You said casual wear.
I did, yes. I think you said formal wear.
I said formal wear. I like both, but I said
I do
formal
too.
choice.
I don't. My day job, my work is casual to begin with, so it's kind of a low key like office casual, atmosphere. So it's not that I don't enjoy doing it once in a while. I just don't really ever much have an occasion to wear formal wear as much.
That's like me, like super formal. Like this is casual for me, and some people would say that's more formal, but like. So I'm like in the mix, guys. I can't decide. And so I was like, casual.
Now, you know how casual our office is. Literally, I'm walking in one day, I'm wearing the same sweater because I dig it up. I'm like, I haven't worn this in a long time. And I show up at work, and my work goes, oh, look at you. You dressed up today. I'm like, no, I didn't. So I'm just wearing a nice sweater. That's all I did.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm like the type of person that needs to like dress up like more than dress down in sweatpants. I'm just like, I don't know, I need to like dress up. I need to feel more, let's go, let's go. Let's
We're put together.
Yeah. All right, next one. Scary movie or comedy? Scary movie?
No.
Yeah, I was guessing.
I think you said comedy.
I said comedy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you said comedy. All right, my favorite comedy, guys. Yes, I'm going there. It's Mall Cop. I love Mall Cop. Paul Blart. He's awesome. Yep.
Some Kevin James.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It is so funny. What about you?
I think lately I've watched Jumanji a few times.
I love Jumanji. Okay, I love movies, so that was really hard for me to say one.
Yeah.
So I could go a whole list. I'm a movie girl. girl to a T. We watch family movies like every night with dinner theater because that is just what we like. And that's what we do all the time. It's one of our biggest hobbies.
And
as
see,
family.
for me, the cheesy it's made, I oftentimes, instead of being scared, I will laugh at scary movies. And the reason why is some of the storylines are written to where it's just like you can see certain things a mile away, and it's just like,
I know, and then it's
why do you laugh from it? It's right behind you. But it's like where now if they're sensical and they're well done and it's logical sense where they aren't made to look dumb, then it can be scary and good. But I think those are the type of things that it's like scary movie parodies are probably made of. But yeah, no, comedy, is like, give me a movie I could laugh at all day long. I mean, those are fun.
But all right, so guys, we have one more,
One
and
more.
this was the hardest one I think for me and Joe to decide because other than the pizza and burger one, that one really hit me, guys. I like both. You said, I think you said pets.
I did.
People are pets. It was.
I think you said people, didn't you?
I said people, yes.
Which that one's hard because I am a people person too, and I love people. But I have a lot of animals right now too, and so it's just like that was a hard one.
Oh man, so you said pet. People,
Yeah.
I mean. Well, it's like, see, I have dogs too, and I want to say pets because they're cuddly and they're there, but then I'm like, if I'm gonna go out to a movie, I think I'll go with somebody who can talk to me.
yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna go out to a movie or food, I think I'll go with someone else.
All right. So what's the favorite sitcom now?
We're not supposed to tell until after. All right, I'll tell. It's Little House on the Prairie. I am obsessed.
What? Wow.
I grew up watching that with my family, and it's just a show that's always been in my heart. And recently, guys, I've been having some struggles with the cases because the cases are all mixed and all the CDs are missing, and then some of them are scratched. And so I'm like, I really want to get the updated series. So I've been coming down, rewatching the same episodes lately. Yeah, and it's been fun. But that is my favorite show.
I was about to say, are they more of a sitcom or a drama, though?
In
It's
the 70s. Did they have a name in the 70s?
Yeah.
I don't know if it had like a name, but this show, guys, I know it's not like the typical Today show.
It's good.
But the show is so like anointed. It's a beautiful show. It's really a show that people need to see because it's there and it's something we need to see in here. So if you haven't seen it, Joe, I suggest you watch it. It's a great. You've seen it. It's just such a heartwarming one. It hits you like every episode. Yeah. But what was yours? I need to know now.
I had several that I watched as a kid, and sometimes just will still do. Obviously, if you grew up in the 90s, obviously Boy Meets World, you just gotta love that one.
Boy Meets World, yeah.
If you grew up, in the 80s, I used to watch, all those typical sitcoms like, Growing Pains and Who's the Boss, and a couple of those other ones over the years, and I even found some older ones like on Roku or Hulu. I was like, hey, The Class, I haven't seen that in years. Like, what? And like, what's funny is like watching like My Two Dads from the creator of Boy Meets World. It's like that had Paul Reiser in it. That had like all these stars before they were big stars. It's just like I forgot how loaded this cast was. And so sometimes with some of the obscure comedies that you watch, it's just like it had so many names before they were names, and some of those you forgot how good some of those hidden gems were. But I mean, some of today's stuff,
it just doesn't hit your heart like the original shows did. Like that's what I'm saying about Little House. It's like it hits you, you know what I mean? And
the things I love about like Little House on the Prairie and some of those older dramas, and even like Everwood or some of those some of those family dramas, even like Heartland,
Heartland.
Heartland, and
so
occasionally
good.
Touched by an Angel and all that, where it's just like you don't see often that type of programming on television today. There was just this sense of family and heartwarmingness, and there was just it was a different time, is what it was on television. A different, slower time where you could really take your time, develop stories. It felt like the shows were given the time to last longer. And now there was less spots to be able to view television. It just feels like now where every network is trying to beat everybody else, and there's so many different ways to watch TV.
Yeah.
It's hard to find that bona fide breakout hit because how people watch TV is different, and there's just so much, or it's almost
well, those shows too. Like, think about like what the newer shows. All they do is just feed you negativity most of the time, and this stuff that this show is doing. Well, most of the shows back then that they did they had that sense of peace, enjoyment that you just need. Yeah. Like, you didn't have to think so hard when you're watching it. It was just enjoyable. Like, and you just knew kind of like, hey, that's probably what's going to happen, but that's good, you know.
That's
what you need. You need that
sitting down and watch television. You
know, it's about gathering. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
But that's the shows. But guys, we're going to be back in a second. We're going to tally up like who won and see what happened with that. And so we'll be right back.
Okay, you're on.
We're back.
How you doing? So, guys, Joseph Neal won! Woo! That's awesome. I'm so excited. He's going to be co-hosting on this show at some point. We'll figure it out, but that's awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited. And Joe, I'm just so blessed that you came on the show today. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate that. I know it's been quite a trip down here, I'm sure. And he's like, yeah, I'm a night owl, goes to sleep. And then, oh my God, his alarms are going off all morning. I was like, if you don't remember, he kept hitting snooze.
I hit the snooze like 3 times.
More than 3. I think I counted up to 6.
3?
I counted up to 6. I think. It's okay.
I have literally, I'm going. I know the button was on the phone. I'm literally. That's why I probably didn't know how many times I did it, because I'm literally just
so tired. I hit my snooze a lot too. I can't help it. It's like, all right, 15 more minutes, and it just keeps going all night.
Community-wise, it sometimes it asks me, you're out there a lot more. And I was like, just especially with this thing, the amount of relationships I've built out here, almost is like. Strange enough, with the support that's out here, it almost feels like a second home kind of feeling to a degree, where the amount of hospitality I've had from different folks out here is just, I feel so welcomed every time, and just to have that sense of support out here in this neck of the woods. I mean,
that is amazing. It's another way of God saying Interruption Hug to you. He's like,
pretty much
through other people, and that's another thing. It's like the Interruption Hug is through. It's a hug from above, but it's through everyone, if we come together too. And that's what it also is. It's not, it's a two-way street there, it's like he's coming down, he's giving that, but it also is through other people too. So it's pretty cool. But I'm really blessed. Thank you so much, Joe. You guys got to check out Joseph Neal, Christian Media Spotlight, if you guys didn't know who he was. I know most of the Facebook people that have been viewing the shows lately know who he is, so that's why I said that. But anyway, so thank you guys so much for coming and watching the show. Thank you again, Joe. Bless you. God bless your show as well. You're doing great things for God's kingdom, and may God have all the glory as always, guys. This is all about Him. It's all about God, and He really just wants to give that interruption hug, and that's what this is. So if you guys also are interested in coming on the show, message us, Interruption Hug Ministries. I can't wait till next Friday, 9 a.m. Kat Lay's going to be with us, so check her out. Interruption Hug with Heather Rae, 9 a.m. I'll see you guys. Love y'all.
What's up, guys? Emily Hope here. Just wanted to invite you guys to an awesome event I'm going to be a part of this weekend. So Christian Media Spotlight is putting together an awesome event for artists like me, cross country, and it's called Night of Hope, sharing hope through worship. And so I have submitted a fun video. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So please tune into this event. It's going to be Saturday, February 13th, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube on Christian Media Spotlight's channels and pages. And it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. for my Central peeps. So please tune in. It's going to be great. We'll see you soon.